Hello, Commonwealth Picker. Your listing did not follow search manipulation policy. Manipulating search results to gain unfair visibility of a listing is not allowed. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the Commonwealth of Virginia. People always ask me what Commonwealth it is. We're about ready to head to that cabin, but I got to go in here first for a minute, do a little bit of work, then I'll pick up the camera back in there. I want to talk about 4 topics today, which I don't normally tackle that many, but negative feedback is one of them. I just got one. I'm going to talk about that, the lack of eBay customer service, both on the selling side and on the buying side. I've been hearing a lot about that lately as well. I also want to talk about title structure for your listings, because it kind of ties into something else that I really want to talk about, and that is search manipulation. All right, we are going to weave all those topics through these sales. Have a few less than usual, but it's not because sales are down. It's because I've filmed 3 straight days, and I've done that quite a bit lately. And I'm going to be in November headed somewhere for about 5 or 6 days, and I want to have a few extras. So our filming is 3 or 4 days behind after I film it to when we post it at this point. And sometimes even more than that, but we're going to try to maybe skip ahead and get back on track. And this is the last of the 6 Wallace Christmas ornaments. And we did really well. We paid $30 for all 6. And I think we've made about $300 on them so far. Maybe a little bit more. This one sold for $44.95. You ever see those? Pick them up. I'll jump in on the first one really quick. This isn't the focus of the video, but it ties into a part of the focus of the video. I got a negative feedback. It is my 4th in 12 months. There's one about ready to drop off, which put me down to 99.7, which is the lowest that I can think of ever. And I've pretty much given up. It depends on what the issue is. Trying to get negative feedback removed from eBay, and that ties into the lack of customer service part of it. There are ways, and I could go through the time and hassle and all that, but I've made the decision that unless it is egregious and something's really wrong, I'm not even going to put in that time. But this one, I think I'm pretty sure we'll be able to resolve it with the buyer themselves. I've been contacting them back and forth. So they sent a message about a jacket. They said it's not the right size. I'm like, okay, well, is that my fault or is it your fault? And it's listed as a large, and they said this thing does not fit. I'm a large, it doesn't fit. And that's neither here nor there. I'll talk about that in a second. But I didn't respond for about, it was more than 24 hours. And I was busy, I was away. It wasn't a time I'm normally working on eBay. Didn't see it till maybe 26 hours after they posted their message about it. And so by the time I got there to respond to it, matter of fact, I responded to it not even knowing that they left a negative feedback. Here's the negative feedback. The jacket is either a kid's large or a woman's large, but it's not a men's large. Tried contacting the seller through eBay messaging and nothing, which is true. But, normally, in a normal day, a normal process, I would snatch that thing really quick and I would take care of it. But, sometimes there's circumstances, and in this case, we were gone. I think Turner had a tournament, and I didn't get to it. The rest of the message is what I think is intriguing. eBay is useless in helping, meaning helping them because they contacted eBay. So I have to resort to leaving a negative feedback, a negative review, and hope someone would help, meaning I guess me, right? Because eBay's not looking at negative feedback. I can return if I pay for shipping, but the listing is deceptive and did not receive what I described, what was described. First, in my own defense, I don't think it was deceptive at all, at least not purposefully. A lot of times what happens is with these jackets, this is a vintage jacket, right? And it's one of those tight-fitting vintage jackets. And sometimes the vintage sizes don't line up. I haven't even looked to see. We usually put measurements on those. Doesn't matter. Any of that matters at all. Is it doesn't fit this person, and they don't feel like they've been treated right, and we're going to take care of them. I don't want people to be upset. I don't want the negative feedback. Sent them a message, and I said, hey, I know it's a little bit confusing. You don't have to. They were stuck on, choosing a label and the price. They didn't realize they didn't have to pay for the return price. They didn't have to pay for that return label. They just didn't understand it. And nobody at eBay could explain that to them or help them or whatever. So I explained it to them, just said, hey, hit that, you'll get the full refund. I'm paying for the whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. And so that's what they're going to do. Once that process goes through, I'm going to ask them to revise their feedback, and I'm sure they will. I hope they will. You know, as sellers, we always complain about customer service, but when you get buyers starting to complain about customer service, there's an issue there that's even bigger. And well, it depends on how you look at it, I suppose. But I want to compare eBay customer service to the way it used to be, but especially to how some of these other sites are handling it now. Salt and pepper shakers, picked them up super cheap, $1. And sold the salt and pepper shakers for Tupperware to do pretty good for me. These sold for $16.95 plus shipping. We got probably about a $12 profit on those. Super quick sales, super easy to list, super easy to ship. Now, I've talked about customer support and all that stuff, customer service, quite a bit in the past, so I don't want to belabor the point. But it is worth noting that the complaints that I'm seeing personally to me, not about me, but to me, and across social media are growing in intensity. It's not getting better. eBay, I think, is dropping the ball on this, and I do want to compare it to a few other sites. And I don't think anybody's great at it, to be honest with you. But there are always issues, and there have to be ways that people can resolve those issues. I mean, it's part of doing business, right? So these I picked up for $5. And a lot of this stuff people are scared of, you know, prescription stuff, medical stuff, and whatever. These are just bandages. Silicone border foam. And these things can be pricey. And I saw these at a sale. I'm like, these are going to do well. And I brought them home, and they did. Looked them up, and I'm like, hey, that's not bad at all. $60 for these. $60 plus shipping. Paid $5. So I'm going to ask y'all to do me a favor down below. Let's do a little report card here. So if you sell on a platform, whatever platforms you sell on, you put the platform and you give them a grade, A through F. eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, you know, District, whatnot, you know, Grailed, Etsy, whatever it is you sell on, you put the Facebook, talk about customer service. So you put the marketplace, you give them a grade if you sell on that marketplace. Just you know, no commentary, just put that down there in the comments. I want to look at it, and I'm sure a lot of other people will too. Y'all know I love going to all kinds of different sales, highway sales and stuff. And a lot of times some of these sales are way overpriced, and I love the hunt and finding something that's a deal. There's one particular sale, it was actually not too far away from here, and everything was just way overpriced for me, right? Don't get offended. But it was just too much for a reseller to pay. And I'm like, I'm going to find something. It was the last sale of the day. I'm like, I'm going to find something. I saw this old shirt hanging. I'm like, that thing's cool. And I think they wanted $2 for it. It says Dior on it, right? I'm like, is this Christian Dior? Kind of weird. I don't know. But I listed it. And it sold pretty quick. And I've had it forever. I bought this shirt like 2 years ago. It got stuck somewhere in a death pile or on a rack or something. But we're moving through inventory so quick lately that it's working. So $24.95 for that one. Plus shipping, no size tag in it, just measurements. So 2 more topics here. One is search manipulation, and we'll talk about it from different angles. But I got a message from eBay that told me, hey, this listing's been taken down because you are, I can't remember the terms. I'll read it to you in just a second, but let me pull this next item. It should be in Froggy Flips, some jewelry, a little lot of vintage jewelry. Nothing amazing, but they're all clip-on earrings. Oh, they're kind of cool. And they sold for just a shade under $14. So shipping. I don't want to read this, but I want to give a little context here first. So first of all, when eBay sends you a message about search manipulation, first thing I thought to myself was, man, eBay's in the business of search manipulation. They're charging people in order to manipulate the search to make money off of promoted listings. But that's, you know, I'm like, oh, this is interesting, right? But this is a little bit different than that. And I'm actually, you know, this could be a video where we just completely trash eBay, but I'm actually going to give them props for one particular thing here. But let me read this first. Please understand that you used the keywords, not VHS in your title description of this listings. Keyword, it was a Betamax tape. Now, here's some more context. I didn't list this. I've said before, Bubba's fiance has listed stuff for us, and my wife lists stuff. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. That's not the point of this. I wouldn't have done that right there. But that's neither here nor there. Matter of fact, and if you didn't watch the last couple videos, Bubba's fiance finally has a full-time job. Congratulations to her. We wish her absolutely the best. She's still going to help out maybe a little bit on the weekends or something, or if I need a little extra help and she has time. But for the most part, she's going to be working a full-time job. So I should have read this first, I guess. Hello, Commonwealth Picker. Your listing did not follow search manipulation policy. Manipulating search results to gain unfair visibility of a listing is not allowed. Understandable. I do this on my own site, on my Shop Common site. The policy is you can tag one category. You can't tag every category because then it shows in the home screen and every single line in your item gets huge visibility. It's not fair to everybody else. So I get it. I'm sympathetic to it. And in the title, description, listing, keywords are often used for the purpose of diverting members to a listing, which is not permitted. Also, usage of different keywords in the title results in a poor search experience. All right, I got to say this. So eBay's search experience, in my opinion, is not nearly as good as it used to be. But I'm not criticizing this because they're right here. Keywords can be defined as brand names, celebrity names, designer names, specific products, or other much searched words which are unrelated to the actual item for sale. You can relist your item by removing the related keywords from your listing. Now, here's the praise part of them. In the past, these things would just disappear completely. You'd lose your pictures, you'd lose everything. And now they're hiding those listings and giving you an alert and then allowing you to go revise it and fix it. That is way, way, way better. Saves a whole ton of time. And it's a part of an education process, so we don't make the same mistakes over and over again. So I'm going to give them props on that. That's exactly what I did. I went back and I changed that listing. And, you know, when you have other people list with you, you know, my wife now and me are doing all of the listings at this point. And so it's easy. Although with your spouse, sometimes it's not easy. Because if I tell her, I'm like, babe, I think you listed that for too much money. She's like, I listed it for what I listed it. She lists things for a little bit higher than I do. Bubba's fiance listed things for a little lower than I used to. And so I think there's a good little happy medium. And that's a different topic for a different day. But me and my wife have been working together for a long time. So we've got it figured out. And sometimes I'll go in there and don't tell her, but I'll go in there and I'll lower her prices a little bit. I'm sure she probably bumps mine. There's Dobby out there. So I'll tell you what, all this busting our butts to get all this fall stuff up, putting in extra hours really has paid off. And here's another jacket sale. Not a massive one. It's a vintage J. Riggins, but it's the cool style. And this one sold for $35.95 plus shipping. Check out what followed me in here, y'all. Look at that. Butterfly. How you doing, bud? I'll let you out. See if we can get it out. There we go. All right, buddy. You go. You go. You don't want to go? All right, you'll go in a minute. I'll just set that right there. And since we're talking about search manipulation a little bit, I do want to talk, and that in regards to titles, of course, I do want to talk about title structure for just a second because I think it's something that a lot of new resellers just don't grasp. I'm not going to get into great detail, but give just an overview. You know, I sold another 2 of these, and we've been selling these lately, and this is the first time one sold to a viewer, and actually 2 sold to a viewer. So these are Skybox EXL packs, $95.96. And let me look at what they sold for. I think the viewer used a coupon. And they did, 5% off. So any item you want to pick up if you're a viewer, just put code Commonwealth. You don't have to ask anything. Just put code Commonwealth in it. You get 5% off. Buyer's note. Hi, Kevin. We're really in... Oh, I should tell you what they sold for. 2 of them sold $53.90. We do free shipping on those. We really enjoy your videos. My wife is going to love the measuring spoons. Oh, so you bought 2 things. Well, wow. I think that's the only viewer sales we have today. That somebody left a message, and there's 2 of them, so thank you. She loved the gnome I got from you last Christmas, too. I remember that. Thank you. I was so sorry to hear about Sophie. And no, firsthand losing a pet is tough. If you can pack the cards and spoons together, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, we absolutely will, for sure. So thank you. I should read your name. James. James, that's very kind of you. Thank you for buying something last year. Thank you for buying something this year. And we are going to talk about Christmas and different things we're going to be doing. We're doing the 50-50 charity auctions. That reminds me of something. And we did lose Sophie, and it was sad. But man, there's a lot of people out there. This world is crazy right now. Has been for a while, but the last couple of weeks, you know, with all this stuff, the hurricane, the aftermath, and we're doing some fundraisers for that. And You know, I know a lot of people are struggling out there, but I have seen so many people in this community do kind things for other people, for groups of people, and all the stuff that's going on, you know, the strike talks, all that stuff, and all that stuff that's happening. And I just am so grateful to have so many of you in this community supporting me, and I hope to give back, and we've already been doing that, and we'll be talking about that stuff as we go into Q4 here. I was so happy to see this sale come across because these have been here forever taking up space. They're Hazel Atlas. I love selling glasses, love them. But sometimes some different types are just slow sellers, and these, I might have to show you a picture of them. And I don't know, was there 4? I felt like there was more. Yeah, there was 5 of them. Are there 5 in here? I don't know. But they went off on 30% off, $16.07 plus shipping. If I'd have known they sold for that, I wouldn't have bought them, but they're gone now. Just got back. My wife made me some lunch today, and she said she'd help with shipping. I'm like, what am I doing right? And here are those spoons that they grabbed, and I picked them up for $1 or $2. They're not big sellers, but I'm always selling them pretty quickly. Kind of like Tupperware salt and pepper shakers. These Pioneer Woman ceramic measuring spoons, $12.95. Let's ship. I gotta go in and grab a shirt, but look at these puppies. What are y'all doing out here? Huh? What are y'all doing? I didn't say you had to come. I just said, what are you doing? We sold another Enron t-shirt. We've sold about half, maybe, of the Enron apparel. And a lot of them are single stitch. This one does not happen to be. It had a couple issues. It is a size XL. Enron Volleyball Association. $14.95 plus shipping. So let's talk about allowed manipulation. It's not really manipulation, but titles are key. Titles are important. And just a general rule of thumb for titles, for me, there's so many, but if you had to put some at the top of the list, your title is very, very important. Your pricing, your overall pricing, including the shipping, the overall price is very, very important, especially if you're not promoting. So, and I don't promote. And now a lot of folks do, and that's perfectly fine. And it's probably the right decision for those folks. But when you're doing titles, those first 5 words, put in there what the item is. What is it at its core, at its base? Now, I didn't do the Enron. I think my wife did the Enron ones, but I don't even want to look at it. I'm just going to tell you what I would title this shirt. It would be, and it depends, you know, vintage VTG. I think that's key for a lot of items. I don't think it's key for a whole ton, but if you've got space, put it in there either at the beginning or the end. At the end, if the beginning part, you can't get in what the item actually is, but I probably do VTG, vintage men's Enron t-shirt, or vintage Enron t-shirt men's, something like that. And then you start adding other stuff. XL, you know, made in the USA, single stitch, this one's not single stitch, whatever it is. You add in all those other things, if depending on what the item is, MCM, cottage core, all those keywords. And definitely jam as much in there as you possibly can. And sometimes I don't use all the characters because they're just, you can't come up with something. You know, if you got space, put white, I don't know. Volleyball obviously needs to be in there at some point, but that's not what people are probably searching for. So I wouldn't put volleyball in that title unless I could fit it in there in the first 5 and still have an exact, you know, impression of what that item actually is. I gotta go over here and check up on my wife here. It says Enron Men's T-shirt XL Volleyball Association logo. I think logo is good. Enron logo. You know, it might if you got extra space, right? Made in the USA, vintage. So there you go. It's the stocking stuffer kind of time of year again, so these started to sell again. We don't make a bunch. They sell for $7.66 because they're on 30% off sale right here. But we can look at the title for this one and see. And if it's a perfect title, you know, I made it, of course. If it's bad, then somebody else did it. I'm winking behind the camera. All right, Scooby-Doo keychain, $7.66. This one says vintage 1998 Scooby-Doo mini book keychain. New in NIB, NOS, new old stock, new in box, whatever. Warner Brothers Cartoon Network. So if I were to redo that title, I'd take the 1998 out, and it would say, oh, I wouldn't take it out, I'd move it. Vintage Scooby-Doo mini book keychain. Then the rest would be just fine. You want to have what that thing is right at the beginning, and some people don't. You'd be surprised. You look at some listings, and some of mine don't. They need to, but they don't. And sometimes I go back and fix them. But you would be shocked if you look, well, most of you do. Go out and look at some titles. And they want, if it's a shirt, they won't even have the word shirt in it till like the very end of a listing. Hold a football jersey that is not in the jersey section. So I came back here and I dug out, I don't know, I'll have to do it tomorrow, I guess, because I'm under the gun here. I got to get turned into practice. So I'm not going to search. All right, sold a Cabela's jacket. This one happens to be Gore-Tex, which is awesome. And more of those fall sales coming in. Paid $5, maybe $10, but I think I paid $5 for this down in Georgia. Sold for $60 plus shipping. Anybody want to put their legal tricks down below to get your items seen? So this one, Cabela's Gore-Tex camo jacket, first 4 words. More fall stuff selling, and a couple of dogs. Size extra small Harley. Lot of shirts. These took a long time to sell, and they sold because it's extra small, right? And it's women's $49.95 for those 4 plus shipping. Pepper was on her way in, and then she saw the 2 dogs. She's like, nah, I don't think so. All right, y'all, Reagan's here because she had her practice canceled, which never happens, and Turner's at practice, so no Commonwealth comedy today, but Reagan's here, and she's going to tell you some thank yous.
Glitter Witch Thrift got a CWP bag and a Trash Cash tumbler. Susan got a Trash Cash tumbler. Second Love, Starla, and Susan all got Dip Dip bags. Dip
Dip bags. Those are selling way better than I thought. That's awesome. Thank you, Reagan. Hey, you know what? What did I do with it? We're going to do our first 50-50 over on eBay for Q4 charity auctions, and you can check out what charity it's going to in the listing over there. We still had a few left over from last year. The new ornaments are coming soon. But we're only doing 50 this year because last year we did 100 and we didn't sell them all. That's why we've got a few left. So we're going to do 50-50 and an Enaman ornament. And half the money's going to one of the charities that's listed. So thank you, Reagan.
Bye. And don't forget your stickers at commonwealthbigger.com.
I want to give you an update on a couple things. I don't make it part of the show, but we did sell a Shop Commons lot that I probably shouldn't have ever bought to begin with. I sold a few off on eBay, and it just took forever. They were Simply Southern flags, I think. And we're probably going to break even on this sale. I thought maybe somebody antique booth or something, and I just put them all together. Sold them off for $9 plus shipping over there. And we just packaged up a Dibdit show, which went really well, about $600 worth before I started filming today. Took it to the post office, and then we started to film. So, at any rate, what else do we got? Oh, we did have a Dibdit sale. And this was not a deal of the day, but we did sell these. Do I have a name? I don't think I know. Thank you for whoever bought these. I appreciate you. I think it was a... Oh, yeah, that's what it was. They bought these on the live show, or bought this on the live show, and then added 2 other things in from the static listings. Dick Tracy. These are going for like $11 for Dick Tracy and Breathless Mahoney vintage PVC figures. Which reminds me to put a deal of the day over there. And I looked up here. I'm like, you know, what's been in here forever we could do deal of the day on? And I saw this Noah's Ark thing back there. I'm like, that's been here. It was hiding. And I'm like, that thing's been here for years. So I looked it up on eBay and it wasn't there. So there you go. My neighbor next door used to have one of these when I was a little kid, and I would go there and play with it all the time. This is the old style one with all the little animals. And so we're going to put it over there super cheap. Dibdit.com. I don't know. What's super cheap for this? $10? $9.99? $8.95? $8.95. Let's do $8.95 plus shipping on that one. And I have more of these, so I put 2 more back up here. Here we go. Check. That butterfly was here for like 20 minutes. And it finally left. So I'll put the hat back up. And I tell you what, I should have put these up on display out there because I like them. These little Smurfs. That's an Easter Smurf. That is a Valentine Smurf set. And this is a Doctor and Nurse Smurf set. And these are all pure profit at this point. We have made a bunch of money on that giant lot we bought, selling them all off in different lots. And these are smaller ones, of course. And these sold for $9 and 99 cents plus shipping. Hey, I'll check it out. I found the Ed Reed jersey. Whew, took me a while, but I found it, and it's gone. $39.99 plus shipping. So don't forget to give me your customer service grade for every platform that you sell on in the comments below. I think we'd all have fun reading those. And give me your title tricks, your knowledge about titles, and maybe some new folks can read those down below. And any other tricks, legal tricks now that you can get your items seen without promoting them. And tell me that down in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for stopping by, and I can't wait to see you next time.